What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to LTH, and in this video I want to talk about the Odroid H4 Plus, but specifically updating the BIOS, turning off Hibernation, setting the power settings, and turning it to wake on LAN for your Proxmox servers. So if you ever lose power, you're away from home and power is restored, they'll automatically turn back on. And I know it's a little bit blurry because it wants to focus on my face. But when I'm talking about plugging things into these nodes, this is just that test rack I have of the 4 H4 Pluses in the rack. And we are going to go ahead and get this video started. This is also just good practice, or good things to look in your own BIOS for on any machine you're using if you're installing Proxmox. But let's get on with the video. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is to have a USB drive going, and then let me switch my view over here. And the other thing you're going to need to do is download Rufus to ensure that you can format this USB drive to FAT32. You can do it in Windows, you can do it with DiskPart, but it can get complicated, or sometimes certain partitions are blocked, and then you have to do all these commands, and Rufus will just nuke the whole thing without you having to worry about it. So I would recommend just downloading Rufus from their website. Again, all the links and all the references that I'm going to use in this video will be linked down below on our website. So let me go ahead and plug this into the computer real quick, and then go ahead and download Rufus, and then unpause this video. Okay, so once you've plugged your USB drive into your computer and you have Rufus installed, this is what Rufus looks like. I just select my device from the drop-down menu, and then we want to select non-bootable device. And then you can switch this to MBR or GBT if you want GPT. GPT is technically the newer model, so I'm going to switch it to that. You can volume label, so you can label this volume, and then it needs to be FAT32 for the purpose of updating our Odroid H4 Plus device's BIOS. And then go ahead and click start. It's just going to warn you that everything on this drive is going to be destroyed, so you better ensure that you're okay with that. But then once it's done, we can download our version of the BIOS. And so I'll just go ahead and close this out, and then I'm going to go to Odroid's website, which is dn.odroid.com, and then this thing. Again, this will be linked down in the description, and then you want to find the latest version. So before, I was actually running 1.08, which is what my devices came with, and that was released on 01/17 of January, but the latest release came out April 6th, and they've updated quite a few things. So you can go follow this tutorial as well if you get lost or confused in this video. This will be linked down below of where I got my references for this video. But if we scroll down to the bottom and we look under the updates BIOS release section, you can see what's been fixed with all their updates, right? So like fix issues with BIOS, access display and output monitoring, including 4K, enable the TDP configuration option for defined power limit settings, and so often. So as I go through my Proxmox course, I just want to make sure any issue that could be happening because of these devices is solved with the latest update, and that's why I'm here to show this to you guys in this video. So again, go ahead and download the latest version, which in our case seems to be at the bottom of the list, as well as the zip file with the hash that you need to verify to ensure that we have a legitimate version of the BIOS. So again, the .zip file and then the .SHA-256 file for whatever the latest version is on their website. Go ahead and download those now. Okay, so I have that hash up right here in my notes, and then I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and then within your downloads folder, we can check the hash with right-clicking in our terminal, or excuse me, in our file explorer, and clicking open in terminal. So what that does is it opens us directly in our downloads folder where that file is located. So we know this file is ADLN. You can also do a oh, sorry, I'm being too slow. It was trying to figure it out. Okay guys, sorry, I decided I wanted to change how I wanted to show this to you, but what you can do is type ls and then find the file name for the file that you're interested in checking the file hash of. So in our case, when it gets downloaded, it's going to be downloaded as a zip file, and it's downloaded as this zip file name right here. Again, within your file explorer, you can also look for the file name. But as you can see here within our ls statement, it actually shows it with the extension of the file name on it, where over here it doesn't show that. We just get the little zip logo so we know it's a zipped file, right? And so that's just one thing to consider. But we're going to use this command, which is our cert util from a previous tutorial that we've shown on the channel. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and this will be linked on the article when I write the new article for this video. And so we're going to go like this, excuse me, and then we're going to grab the zip file, and I'm assuming the hash is going to be for the zipped file, but they didn't say. So we're going to go ahead and check the zip file, and then we can check the file while it's extracted. And so I'm going to do that, and yep, it is the zip file. It's usually what they do before you extract a file. So we can check the first couple numbers, 6B, D, 9D, those match, and then the last couple, 78, A459. So we know we downloaded the file and there's nothing wrong with it, and we've verified that. So the next thing that we need to do is put these files on our drive. And I guess technically the next step you need to do is click the zip file, right click on it, and then extract all, and then click extract the files to your local folder. And right here, I have them in a unzipped file. And so I'm going to just click my Windows key E here, move these around, and then I'm going to go to that drive and delete the 2 auto run files that were in there from Rufus. And then we're going to take these 14 files, drag them onto this external USB drive, plug this into our Odroid machine while it's turned off, and then turn it on. And when we have it turned on, we're going to spam the delete key to get into the BIOS to boot to the Odroid BIOS so we can update it. So let's do that right now. Okay, so that device is powered off. I plugged the USB in, and then I turned it back on, and I have a keyboard plugged into it, and I'm just spamming my delete key on my keyboard so I can ensure the BIOS comes up just like it did right here. And then I'm just going to use my arrow keys, and we're going to go over to save and exit, use our down arrow key, and go to UEFI SanDisk Partition 1, because that's where we put our BIOS settings. So in here, you can see that we're looking for the removable hard disk. So if you see under FS1, it says removable hard disk to the right of it, where all the other ones say hard disk. Except there's also the BLK1 removable hard disk. But you can see the alias, it's attached to FS1, and then the FS1 is attached to BLK1. I'm reading that yellow font. So in our case, we're just going to type FS1 and then these double dots, right above the semicolon on your keyboard. And so, or just a colon, right? And I'm going to click enter. So FS1 right there at the bottom of my screen in the shell, and click enter. And then we can see it opens up that selected drive for us. And then we can type LS to ensure we have the right drive selected. So we can see within here, we do have the right drive selected, because there is the files that we dragged and dropped onto our USB device right here. And so now what we need to do is we need to click on the proper one. So you might be confused and say, oh, there's a whole bunch of files here, right? But we need to select the one specifically for flashing this device. And in our case, because we're doing a normal install, there's multiple options. We're going to just type FB. But if you wanted to do for installing the net card or M.2 4x1 cards, you would do the FB net. Or if you're trying to do M.2 cards, which are 2x2 cards, it would be the FB2. So for 99% of you guys being a normal user for install, we're just going to type FB and click enter. And then we're going to see that it automatically starts flashing. It says flash device found. And then we're going to give this a little bit. And then at the end of this install, you will see FPT operation successful and green text. And then you know that your device has successfully been flashed. Okay, and just like that, FPT operation successful. And so now what you want to do is pull the power cord out. They recommend this. That will create a cold reboot. And then we can click our delete key to go back into the BIOS once you plug it back in and turn it back on. So go ahead and yank the power out right now, and then we will go through the settings of how to turn off hibernate, set power settings, and wake on LAN. Also, I should mention real quick, when you unplug it and you let it set for 2 or 3 seconds, make sure you also remove that USB device from the computer before you turn it back on. Okay, so now I plugged the power back in, and I'm just spamming my delete key once again until that BIOS shows up on our screen. Okay, and there we go. And now we can see that our BIOS is set to 1.12 right there under project version. It won't let me use my mouse, but we can see it says ADLN-H4 1.12 now instead of 1.08 as before. So how do we turn off hibernation? And you want to turn off hibernation because if a lot of your virtual machines in Proxmox aren't doing a lot, the computer or the BIOS will try to put it into a hibernation state, and then you can't connect to your Proxmox environment, and then you may get those slow disconnects, right, while you're trying to actually do stuff or program stuff. So it's really important that we turn this off. So we're going to go to Advanced ACPI Settings, click Enter, and then within here we want to do the Enable Hibernation, select that, and then put Disabled. Just like that, and click Enter. And then again, just make sure your Enable ACPI auto configuration is disabled because we're manually setting it to disabled, okay? So now how do we set our power settings or ensure they're corrected? So again, under this Advanced tab, we're just gonna go up to Power and Performance, and then click CPU Management Control, and then just ensure these are enabled, and the boot performance mode is Turbo Performance. So if we click on Turbo Performance, you can see it's like max non-turbo performance or max battery. We want as much power out of this N97 as possible. So just ensure it's set to Turbo Performance, but based on this BIOS version, it looks like they have it enabled by default. So the next thing is we want it to be wake on LAN, right? Whenever power is restored, we want this device to auto turn on. So in that case, we're going to go over to chipset, and then we're going over to PCH-IO configuration. Click within here, and then within here we need to click state after G3. So we go down here to the bottom, it says state after G3, and we see it's currently set as S5. So the S5 state means that a system keeps in a power off state until the power button is pressed, so requiring it to be powered on. An S0 state means the system will boot directly as soon as power is applied to the device. Okay? And then G3 is just the state means the mechanical off, right? The power button. So when we put this to S0 state, it will automatically turn on, and we can also have wake on LAN enabled. So also USB port power under S5. So even if the device is off, the power ports will still give power. So that's the big one right there. And then we're going to click our escape key, and we can go and do save and exit, save changes and exit. And I'll click enter, save configuration and exit, and click yes. So we're just going to go ahead and let this boot into Proxmox so that we have installed, but I'm going to yank the power out of this and then plug the power back into it after this initial boot, just to make sure that that setting is working, where it's going to wake on an S0 state soon as power is restored. Okay, so that was just the initial restart after we set those BIOS settings, and we can see the Proxmox login is presented to us. So I'm going to go ahead and yank the power out, plug it back in, and we'll see if it auto starts and powers on. Okay, just plugged the power back into it, and I do see the blue LED light presented on the back of the device without having to press the power button. It usually has multiple LEDs illuminated, but in this case, it is already blue instead of a blue and red combo. And there we go. We can see the hard kernel logo just appeared, so it did automatically wake up and turn on when power was restored to the device. So that's a great news for reliability, and what we were essentially looking for, right? You can probably tell my videos aren't scripted. Sometimes I blank out. I'm like, what am I trying to say in this video? But that is how you update the BIOS. And again, just as a reminder, every time you go and update or flash your BIOS, it will reset all those settings like wake on land. So you need to make sure that you go in and set them again if you do update them. Thank you for following me and this video on a little project within my HomeLab. You guys can go down to the description and join our Discord. We'd love to see pictures of your HomeLabs and the projects that you're working on, because essentially this channel is just me documenting what I do. Well, I also teach you guys how to do it right, but this was actually something that I needed to do in my own HomeLab for the purpose of reliability and other videos. So thank you for watching. My name is Abe, signing off with another video, and don't forget to subscribe.